In today's video, we're headed to New Orleans to make what might be one of the best pastas you have ever had. Let's go. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of More Seasoning. I am your host, Farnum, and today we are slapping the shit up out of your taste buds. The reason why is our friend went to Jazz Fest in New Orleans and she tried a pasta called Crawfish Monica, and I made it at home a few days ago. Here's a clip. I mean, you can see the steam, right? You can see that. Here we go. And I'm like, how do I get this to everyone? Because everyone can't get crawfish. So I was like, all right, let me try it with lobster and let me try it with chicken. It worked with both. All you need to know is the creaminess and the flavor that is in this pasta is gonna rock your world. That's all I gotta say, seriously. Before we jump into the video, please scroll down, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and drop a comment. It's time for the B-roll, baby. Let's go. All right, let's jump into the ingredients for this fire-ass pasta. The first thing you're gonna need is some Rotini Pasta. I'm using lobster, but you could use Cajun chicken or no meat at all. Old Bay seasoning. Slap your mama Cajun seasoning. We here on More Seasoning do not condone the slapping of any mamas. I'm using Crawfish Boil for the lobster tails, unsalted butter, Parmesan cheese, green onion, celery, green bell pepper, white onion, even though this shit look more like a basketball, garlic, lemon, Italian parsley, heavy whipping cream, and white wine. And just so y'all know, when it comes to Cajun cooking in New Orleans, there's something that they have called the Holy Trinity, and it is celery, bell pepper, and onion. This goes in anything and everything that tastes amazing in New Orleans. All right, so we're gonna get into the prep work real quick. Okay, obviously crawfish is the one that you wanna do if you can get it. If you can't get it, do lobster tails. That's what I'm gonna do because these are pretty accessible to everyone, or you could do chicken or no protein at all. But if you are gonna do lobster tails, all you're gonna do, we're gonna fill up a sauce pot. We're gonna bring that to a rolling boil. Once we're at a rolling boil, we're gonna add our crab boil seasoning. Once that comes back to a rolling boil, we are gonna drop our lobster tails in for about 7 or 8 minutes. We're gonna pull them out, and then we are going to pull them out of their shells and cut them into bite-sized chunks. Scoop it up into a bowl. Next, it's time to chop up the Trinity. So we're gonna take a green bell pepper. We are gonna slice down the side, and we're just gonna slide some nice lines through it, hit it with a cross chop, scoop it up into a bowl. Next, we got that white onion, and we're going to do a couple slices through the side of it. Then we're gonna hit it with some fine little lines on the opposing side, cross chop, scoop it up into the bowl. Now we got that celery. I don't know why I'm singing. Anyway, we're gonna cut the tops off, and then the entire stalk of the celery, we're just gonna do a fine cut, scoop it up into the bowl. We got some more onions on. Sprint. Hey, yo! Anyway, yeah, next we got some green onion. So we're just gonna get about a 1/4 cup of green onion. We're gonna cut it up, scoop it up into the bowl. Next, we got some parsley. All we're gonna do is cut the stems off. Then we're gonna do a fine chop, scoop them up into a bowl. It's stinky finger time. We gotta cut this garlic up. We're just gonna cut the butt off, give it a smack, peel off that shell. Then we're gonna hit it with a fine chop, scoop it up into a bowl. So my question for you is this Parmesan greater or less than? The answer is greater. Let's go. We're gonna do about 3/4 of this block on a nice fine shred, scoop it up into the motherfucking bowl. All right, let's get ready to wine and dine. We finished all our prep work. Now we're gonna hit the stove. It's gonna get real easy from here and real flavorful. Let's go. All right, check me out like a peeping Tom. Basically what our setup at the stove is gonna look like is this. We've got everything in order from right to left. So these are all the ingredients you're gonna need and the steps that you need it, starting with our Trinity, our parsley, garlic, wine, cream, down to the seasonings, finishing with the lobster and the cheese. On a large saute pan, I've got 3/4 a stick of unsalted butter melting on low heat. Next to that, I've got a nice deep sauce pot that I've got on a high heat. I'm bringing that to a boil. And next to that, I've got my pasta. All right, so our butter is melted and we are going straight in with our Trinity. The reason we're doing this first is because these are the thickest vegetables and we want these to cook and soften up a bit. So all I'm gonna do is just keep this heat on a nice low because I don't wanna burn that butter and make that nasty ass taste that I hate. So all I'm doing at this point is I'm just mixing my veggies up in that butter, and we're gonna let these slowly cook and soften up for about 6 to 7 minutes. Okay, now I said keep it on a low heat, but at some point you are gonna get a little sizzle like this going on, and I just want you to know it's like Oklahoma abbreviated. It's okay. All right, now that our thick vegetables have spent 7 minutes in heaven with that butter, we're going in with our parsley and our green onion. And also on top of that, and I'm just gonna go in and I'm gonna do a nice liberal coat. I'm gonna say about 2 to 3 tablespoons of that slap your mama. And then we're just gonna go ahead and mix. All right, it's been about a minute since, hold on, I'm about to, that slap your mama slapping my right now. Woo. All right, so it's been about a minute and a half since we put in our green onion and our parsley. And next, all my seasoners out there, what do we say about garlic? It goes in last, because what happens if we burn this? The whole dish is gonna taste like and we don't want that. So we're gonna put our garlic in here now, and we're gonna cook it until it's aromatic, till we can smell it. We don't want it to burn, and then we're gonna hit it with some white wine. Let's go. I'm gonna make a little space, let our garlic pop in, get some butter in there. It's from New Zealand. I like lamb, that's from New Zealand also. Speaking of lamb, this has nothing to do with lamb, but if you look in our pan, we have some fond here, so all we're gonna do after about a minute of that garlic in there, we're gonna do about a 1/4 cup of wine, and we're gonna deglaze. And what that's gonna do is that's just gonna help us take all of the good stuff, all that flavor off the bottom of the pan and the sides of the pan. And all we're gonna do at this point, hold on, let me get in frame. Now that I'm in frame, all we're gonna do is leave this on a simmer for a few minutes. We want most of the liquid to reduce out of this. I would say about 60 to 75% of that liquid we want gone. And that's gonna happen through the steam right here, which is also known as evaporation. So once all that alcohol cooks out, it reduces, those flavors concentrate. We're gonna go in with our heavy cream. All right, now we're gonna go in with about 3/4 a pint of heavy whipping cream to start. Give that a mix. All right, so let's think with our brains real quick. This is going to reduce because water is going to leave, right? So I don't wanna put any of my seasoning in right now, because once all that water leaves, that seasoning becomes more and more strong, and we wanna be able to taste to the point that we like the seasoning. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna let this reduce on a low heat for about 8 to 10 minutes. We want it to reduce by about 50%, so it's nice and creamy. Then we're gonna add our seasonings and our cheese and our lobster, and we'll be damn near good to go. So we're gonna let this go for about 10 minutes, and we'll tap back in. So me and a rug have one thing in common right now, and that's that we both lie. I told y'all 10 minutes for this sauce. Give him a look at the sauce, Jamari. You see this right here? We're nearing exactly where we need to be, and it's only been about 4 minutes. So I'm gonna turn this heat on super low. I'll continue to let it reduce little by little, but we need to get our pasta in for the allocated 8 minutes. So let's go. I'm doing 3/4 of the box, not the full box. Forgot to salt it, so we're going in with some salt, and we gotta mix. All right, so we're 6 minutes in. My sauce is basically reduced to where I want it to be, so I'm going in with the cheese. Now let me explain why we're doing cheese before the seasoning, because there's salt in the seasoning, but there's also salt in the cheese. We wanna get most of this cheese in there, so it's gonna add salt. So then we're gonna taste after that for the Cajun seasoning. And we're just gonna go ahead and give all that cheese a nice mix, let it melt in. It's gonna get beautiful and creamy. All right, now we're gonna go in a little at a time. So we got some Slap Your Mama, tablespoon, and we're gonna go in with a little bit of Old Bay as well. And then we're gonna hit our lobster in there, and we're gonna go ahead and mix this all up. I don't even have the heat on at this point, just because I don't want that cheese to curdle and get too hot and break. So we are just gonna go ahead and mix this up, and you could just see like the stringiness of that parm in there is beautiful. There's not one thing that I can emphasize more than please taste as you go, because this can easily get too salty with all these Cajun seasonings. So you need to go a little bit at a time just to make sure you do not get too salty. All right, our pasta's ready. So we're just gonna go in here. We're gonna pull that out, straighten that down a little bit. And don't be afraid to just pop it right in there, because look, now we get our pasta water in there that we wanted, because we do need a little bit of pasta water. And now let's go ahead and mix. And don't be afraid to leave this on a low heat just to let it reduce as we mix. Ladies and gentlemen, all we have to do at this point is hit that B-roll and lock into the taste test. Look at this real quick. Hold up. Just look at this. Are you ready for this? What? Oh my God. That's it. B-roll time. It's a masterpiece. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, it is taste test time. I got Jamari here. It's the middle of the day. Everybody's working, so I couldn't get anybody else in. I forgot we gotta do a little squeeze of lemon on top just to brighten things up a bit. And here we go. 3, 2, 1. That Slap Your Mama sauce? Ooh, whoa, whoa, whoa.
I feel it in my throat. This is ridiculous. This is wild. I don't even know what to say. Like,
You know what this is, dude? It's soul food.
this took my soul. It's not too salty. The kick from the Slap Your Mama sauce is perfect, but it's still slapping you. Like it's not just like a little love tap. That But the lobster, exquisite. This with chicken though, some fried chicken, oh my God.
Listen, this is that New Orleans vibe. It might not be exactly crawfish Monica. I've never had it, but I know this is very close. This literally just tastes like, when I think of like when the Saints come marching down, I'm thinking this. Boom. I got this pasta, I got this beignet, I got a drink, I got pasta, beignet, drink, saxophone. The creaminess of the sauce, the saltiness and the kick from that Cajun seasoning. The lobster just brings through that seafoody, I don't even know. We gotta hit the star scale, sir.
I'm gonna give it a 4.8. I would give it a 5, but you know, I like the little crispy chicken vibes in there, so you add that in there, it's a 5. But I'm gonna give it a 4.8, but damn near 5.
Listen, you know me, if it's on more seasoning, it is a 5-star in my book. The flavor's out of control, the texture is perfect, and seriously, if you wanna taste around the United States, this is just a small sample of what New Orleans might have to offer you. That food down there, I can't wait. One day, I'm pulling up on you, NOLA. My name is Farnum. This is More Seasoning. I appreciate y'all watching. Make sure you scroll down, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, drop a comment below. I love y'all. Hide your kids, hide your wife, hide your mom, because we coming to slap your mama. We out.